Hello, and welcome aboard another episode of the Gallant Says podcast. It is early 1 a.m. Central Time on October 24th of 2023, and the Houston Astros season is over after an 11-4 loss to the Texas Rangers in game number 7. Yeah, this one fucking blows. I don't know what else to really say as far as how you're supposed to react to this. It's not just that the season's done. It's that the end of the season came at the hands of a division rival and came at the hands of an in-state rival. Marinated by a couple of things for me on my way out of Minute Maid Park, not just seeing all of the Letterman jackets that Rangers' significant others were wearing out of the park, but also hearing a Minute Maid Park usher say to, I believe, these Rangers fans, maybe because she was trying to be polite, that, well, I'm just happy that there's a team in Texas that's in the World Series, and we're all going to be rooting for Texas. That's a load of shit. We're not doing that. I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to watch the World Series. That I have given you this much baseball content as it is even surprising to me, because I'm surprised that you guys actually tune in for it. But I do appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me here. Where do we start first? Do we give the Rangers credit? Because I know there's going to be a lot of Rangers fans in the comments section once this thing is up for a couple of hours. Or do we just shit on all the things that went bad? I thought Cristian Javier would have a good start tonight. I was expecting 5 innings, maybe 2 earned runs, a bunch of strikeouts. A third of a fucking inning. They had no chance. It's game 7. You've used a bunch of your pitchers, and you got to scramble after just 1 out. And the Rangers up 3-0 in the first. Credit to Dusty Baker pulling Javier as quickly as he did. He puts in Phil Maton. But after that, who is he going to turn to? He was kind of fucked on that front. Hunter Brown, he's had issues this year. Were you expecting him to piggyback off of the last time we saw him and throw a bunch of scoreless innings? Unrealistic. JP France, whoa. Somehow even worse than Cristian Javier. He came into the game. Were you expecting him against this Rangers lineup to keep him in check? This thing was over so fucking quick. I don't really know who to point a finger at. The offense struggled yet again. They were 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position. The top of the lineup, if I'm doing my math right, was 9 for 18. The bottom of the lineup was 3 for 20. And if you've been watching this team all season long, you've seen a lot of these problems rear their ugly heads. You have seen the offense not deliver, and you've seen the starting pitching underachieve. And all of that was on display tonight. And over the last couple of games, it's been on display. I would point to first the starting pitching. You traded for Justin Verlander at the trade deadline. He didn't give you much in Game 5. You're lucky to have won that game. Framber Valdez is supposed to be your ace. He didn't give you as much as you'd like in Game 6, though of the 3 performances that we're comparing, his was the best. And then, of course, what you got from Javier. 2 of those guys were supposed to be the aces of your rotation. Hunter Brown was supposed to be better this year. He is now a guy that you're bringing in relief duty in a game that's out of hand. Lance McCullers hurt again. Jose Urquidy hurt. Luis Garcia hurt. So there are some things that you can point at Jose Altuve being out for a while, Yordan Alvarez being out for a while. But all that has to do with the regular season. They still made it to the ALCS against a Rangers lineup that's specifically Corey Seager, Evan Carter, and Adolis Garcia crushed for. Sucks with Garcia. I got to tip my hat to the guy, though. I mean, with all the focus on Garcia, who probably, if Abreu's getting suspended, should have been suspended. Luckily, Abreu wasn't suspended for this actual Game 7. His suspension would have taken place next year after the appeal was done. But Garcia, unsuspended, after an 0-for-4 performance to begin Game 6, it's a home run. It's a grand slam, and he hit 2 home runs tonight. And he's your ALCS MVP because he hit a home run in Games 4, 5, 6, and 7. 5 home runs in total. And he is an Astro killer. And he's doing things that you're not that surprised by. So you do got to give him his flowers. Those other Rangers players. Jordan Montgomery coming in on short rest for the first time of his career and pitching very well. Nathan Eovaldi. Like, the Rangers do deserve credit here, but there's a lot of things with the Astros where you've seen this all season long. Let's read some comments. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. Johnny Walker says this really blows. Yes! Jack Jones, I want to thank you, Gallant, for saying the Rangers are dead. Yeah, you can make fun of me all you want for that one. And if it blows up the engagement, thank fucking God. That's how we survive in the internet. Being right, it's helpful, but being wrong helps you stand out. I still feel justified in killing off the Rangers when I did. They killed them, the Astros did at Globe Life. And I thought that the Astros wouldn't piss away the month of September. I figured they would, at the very least, win the division by 2 or 3 games or something like that, even with Seattle and Texas hanging around. But Texas deserves a lot of credit. I'll keep on giving it to them. They dug deep after that moment in time. They played pretty well for a couple of weeks. Maybe not the last week of the year where they had that blown series against the Mariners and blew the AL West and were made fun of because of the champagne shower that they had that supposedly wasn't that big of a deal. After they had clinched a playoff spot, I roasted them for those Letterman jackets that they wore because it reminded me of the Houston Texans doing the same thing back in 2012. I suppose the Letterman jacket curse is broken forever in the state of Texas. I felt justified in killing them. I still feel justified in killing them. You know, if you're going to live your sports take life just sitting on your hands and never actually thinking that something's the case, then, I mean, why the fuck would anyone tune into you? But if you go back and watch it, you'll notice I didn't feel great about it because there was a lot of season left. It just was the way that they killed them. But this is a lot like for me back in the 2010-2011 season when the Patriots killed the New York Jets down the stretch. I want to say it was a Sunday Night Football game. I think they beat them 42-0 or something like that, 41-0. The Patriots lost to the Jets in the divisional round of the playoffs. Go fucking figure. D'Amico Senko 9. Paul, help me cope. I don't know what to do. I had the margarita. I broke my sobriety. I'm kind of mad at myself for breaking my sobriety. Fat load of fucking good it did. Only good thing that came out of tonight's game is that I saw Vanessa Richardson for the first time in a bit. We hung out in center field for a little bit by the Hornitos bar. Ran into Junior Broncos from the Twitch. Met him for the first time. If you listen to ESPN 97.5, he's regularly in that Twitch room. And a couple of others, listeners from ESPN 97.5, Sports Radio 610 way back in the day. So that was cool to meet some people and to hang out. But fuck, the game... not so much. More comments. NJ Fuentes, respecter. That was just pathetic all the way around. Yep. Asymmetric risk. I want to see Phillies, Rangers. He says, sell that trusty, dusty shirt. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it. Sonic Collections PS2 noises. Garcia going off was just too funny. Oh, man, he really went off. He really went off. And look, he always does that against the Astros. Forrest Crump. Rangers deserve credit, but not having our best players on the field is what really hurts. You're going to have to elaborate on this one. Would Yainer Diaz have saved the day? Would Mauricio Dubon? have saved the day. I know some people suggested that he should play shortstop instead of Jeremy Pena. Would moving two guys into the bottom of a lineup that from 5 through 9 sucked tonight, would that have changed it? Think about baseball from an odds perspective. Most hitters are hitting what? 250 to 270 if they're decent. If you change the lineup, what are the odds that things will be significantly different? I don't think it will be that different, truly. NJ Fuentes, respecter, youtube.com/blog a lot. The series was lost in games 1 and 2. In a close game, every at-bat matters, and we continuously started in a black hole. Yeah, that's the case. It sure as fucking shit was the case tonight. HTX No Limit says, Clutch City ain't come through today. Jack Jones says, you need to talk about trading Fromber or Tucker since they won't pay both of them, especially after this series. As a result, the Astros can compete with the Rangers. Well, you need to find somebody. And generally, when you trade players like that, you're getting prospects in return for them. And you don't know if those prospects are going to be good. You're not really trading a player of those calibers for someone who's good right now that's cost effective unless there's something wrong with him. Like, no team is going to trade that guy over. You're trading at a loss, thinking about the big picture, thinking about the future. If you trade those guys, your team gets significantly worse, and it's the start of a stripping down parts to reset things journey. And we know how long those can take. Andrew Ramirez says the Astros should trade Framber Valdez. Someone's got to trade for him. Sam's son. I like Vanessa. She has pretty eyes. Bonk. Traffic control tech. Astros had a good season overall. Yeah, they did. Look, they made it to the ALCS again, and I know no one wants to hear this, but it's hard to get there. And that sort of brings us to Dusty Baker, who said as much at his post-game press conference. And at the press conference, he did not... Sorry, I've been tired, almost yawning. He did not say what he is going to do, but there's an article in The Athletic, and it reads like this. Dusty Baker has expressed to multiple people inside and outside of the Astros organization that 2023 will be his final season as manager. He declined comment when asked by The Athletic if he had told people this was his last season. Multiple sources not authorized to speak publicly told The Athletic they think Baker wants to remain in the game in some capacity. So why would Baker not make it more public that he is ready to turn in his permanent perch in the dugout for another role in baseball? Continues this article. First, Baker didn't want the attention that would come with a farewell tour. Several sources believe he did say that in his post-game press conference. In addition, Baker, who told The Athletic multiple times he was thinking about retirement, still has a chance to change his mind. According to multiple sources, this is the first season Baker has talked about leaving managing and getting some time away from the day-to-day grind of the game. He did mention in his post-game press conference that he's got a couple of hunting dogs and he hasn't seen them since February and he's not going to recognize them. Dusty Baker's wife said when he's done managing, I know he has a lot of knowledge to offer an organization. I know he can help build a winner. My husband just wants to win and is a winner. Baker said that he loved all the guys at his post-game press conference. His .586 winning percentage trails only A.J. Hinch, the highest of any manager in team history. I know a lot of people are going to point the finger at Dusty Baker. It's an easy scapegoat after a season like this. I truly don't believe managers have that much of an impact over the course of a year. And I'll go back to the thing that I have been saying for the most part this season. There are lots of players on this Astros team that are better than what they showed on the field this year. There's lots of players who are better than what they were on a regular basis. Injuries are a factor in some of the struggles this year, but I think more than Dusty Baker's lineup decisions, which a lot of you focused on with a vigilance that I just think reeks of people that don't have a life. No offense. I don't have the energy to focus on a fucking lineup every single day. But a lot of you guys are acting like that's the reason that the Astros are in the situation that they're in right now. Please tell me what Dusty Baker could have done alternatively when his starters are getting the shit kicked out of them early on in all these games. Like, what the fuck is he supposed to do? I know I'm sounding like I'm caping for Dusty Baker here. I'm just saying that if you're blaming Dusty Baker for the end of this season, I think you're just not on top of this sport in the way that you probably think you are. It's easy to point at the manager, but like the fucking manager isn't up at the plate. He's not the one throwing pitches. Javier sucked tonight. JP France sucked tonight. Cristian Javier had been better in a couple of starts before, but this regular season, he sucked. There's a lot, and he just got that extension. Like, there's a lot of things to point to that are not the fault of Dusty Baker. And I want everyone to take a step back and at the very least acknowledge blaming Dusty Baker for all of this year's problems is fucking stupid. He managed this team to a World Series last year. He made good decisions along the way. Were there some that you scratched your head at? Yeah. Could he have managed Yainer Diaz differently this season? I'm sure Astros management thinks so. Of all the things that happened this year, that's probably the one thing that I look at and say, yep, not great for the big picture of an organization. That is legitimately it. I felt like, considering the outfield that he had, that he managed things pretty well in that capacity. Michael Brantley was hurt most of the year. Chas McCormick got hurt himself, came back out of shape, took a while to get back in Dusty's good favor. Mauricio Dubon started off the year at second base because Altuve got hurt. He came back to earth after an incredible start. He played a little bit of outfield. Like, I'm looking for the one thing that shows that Dusty Baker failed this year as a manager, and I'm sorry, I just don't see it in the same way that a lot of you guys do. And if you've watched some of my segments that I did on the Paul Gallant show, I will admit, I was trolling, I was fucking with y'all in a lot of those pro-Dusty, pro-Maldy takes. If you couldn't sense the sarcasm or that I was screwing with you, I apologize. I'm pretty good at hiding my sarcasm. If you've been with me long enough, though, you knew that I was probably fucking around. It's not to say that I don't think that there were good moments for Dusty Baker and good moments for Martin Maldonado this year. I am just saying that I get the frustrations, but those two are going to be blamed. Those two are probably not going to be back. I believe Martin Maldonado was on a one-year contract, so he's done. And if Dusty Baker's done too, okay, the Astros turn the page. They move on to what's next. That means Yainer Diaz for the most part every single game. And to Diaz's credit, I mean, he was a borderline Rookie of the Year candidate who maybe would have been Rookie of the Year if Dusty Baker played him more. But Dusty liked Martin Maldonado because of the intangibles that he brings behind the plate. Are those intangibles so significant to the point that he should have played the majority of games over Yainer Diaz? Honestly, probably not. Probably not, especially considering we're talking about regular season games. But I don't think it's Maldy's fault that this thing is over, and I do not think that it is Dusty Baker's fault that this thing is over, even if there were some decisions along the way in this game that could have been made differently. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. NJ Fuentes Respecter says, this never felt like a World Series caliber team. Yeah, I'm with you there. Dreadnought says, I'm loving the Astros tears. Hey, look, you have a long run like this, the tears aren't as painful. Now, they become painful, and I say this as a Patriots fan, they become painful as the years go by and you realize you had something that you'll probably never recapture. But I don't think this Astros run is done. I saw a couple of people, I think it was John McClain. Of course, fucking McClain did it. I love John, but Jesus Christ, dude. Like, pro Oilers stuff as the Titans are selling off parts. They traded Kevin Byard today and saying the Astros dynasty is over. They made it to the ALCS again. The dynasty lives until they are eliminated before the first round of the playoffs as far as Houston is concerned. I know that sounds arrogant, cocky, and condescending, but I mean, it is true. Now people actually here in town respect the Rangers, but it took the Rangers winning this series. And people should not have been respecting Texas before it, because this regular season, the Astros did beat up on Texas, specifically at Globe Life Field. But I will admit that I respect the Texas Rangers now. I have a lot of respect for Adolis Garcia, even though it was bullshit what happened in Game 5, and he should have been suspended too if Abreu got suspended, even if that suspension wouldn't be served till 2024. Nathan Eovaldi, Jordan Montgomery, Corey Seager, who fucking tattooed that home run to right field tonight. Evan Carter, Jesus, that guy's great. Mitch Garver. Lots of guys played well in a series where Marcus Semien, who might be their best player and played very well against the Astros this season, did nothing. A la Kyle Tucker, a la Jeremy Pena, a la the 5 through 9 guys in this lineup. Andrew Ramirez says Montero should be DFA. Yeah, good luck with that. Dreadnought. So much trash was talked about the Rangers coming from Astros fans. Just made this Game 7 so much more amazing. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. More comments. Jerry2968. There have been stories for a few months about Dusty in the front office at odds over his reluctance to the analytics department. Is it analytics as much as there's new people in charge and he's just like, I know baseball? I'm sure there are some things that the Astros are presenting to Dusty Baker that he's pushing back on. But is there anything that's happening from a statistical perspective that you look at that maybe was being pushed to Dusty Baker and you say, fuck, man, they're really screwing up by not doing this? Diaz is literally the only thing you can point at, in my humble opinion. Josh Court says it's not Dusty Baker's fault. The team couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. I totally agree with you. NJ Fuentes, Respecter, says we could have started Diaz all year, so we had another weapon in the lineup come playoff time. Well, what if they did start him all year and he does this? Isn't it likely that a guy in his rookie season would look like this in the postseason? I mean, what Jeremy Pena did last year in the postseason is a fucking ridiculous effort. Probably something that'll never happen again. He's got a lot of stuff to work on this offseason because he was just a black hole in the lineup in this series. Alberto Solis, do you think Unk is going to re-sign? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if you're Dana Brown, you look at Michael Brantley, and I mean, what did he get? $10+ million this year, and he barely played. And he does stand in the way of young outfield depth. It really is a matter of, do you think you can get somebody else that's better in the outfield? And I don't know who that guy is, at least right now on October 24th, 2023. Twitch.tv/Gallant says, D'Amico Senko says, fuck Paulie, what do we do now? Why am I still up? I guess we're going to talk a lot of Houston Texans now. Hey, at least they're good. More comments. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. Jack Jones says, was only trying to help the Astros so that the rematch can be a classic, such as if the Astros acquire Freddie Freeman, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani. I guess you could trade for those guys, but they're not just going to take Fromm or Valdez or Kyle Tucker. They would need prospects too. And the big problem for the Astros right now, any trade that they make, who's the prospect that you're throwing in there, especially after you traded Drew Gilbert to get Justin Verlander back in here? Jerry2968, Maldonado's defense slipped quite a bit this year. That's saying something. It quit more than quite a bit. And the Astros have been consistently inconsistent all year. Yup. XXAnimeX dude says at youtube.com/Paul Gallant, Javier won us a World Series last year and won us 2 playoff games. I think he was worth the money, honestly. One loss will come. He has to be better next regular season, though. And I feel like the Rangers were actually able to shake El Reptil today. I thought their approach on the base paths when they got on base, that would be very frustrating, knowing that you're so slow to the home plate that everybody that gets on base, excuse me, has a chance to steal. That's got to get under your skin, no matter how measured you might seem out there. More comments. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. Dusty not playing Yainer Diaz made him cold. Pena was a rookie last year. He played nonstop and single-handedly won a World Series with his presence. Diaz could have been that. True, he could have been. Would he have been that? I think is far from a certainty. He might have. He had a great rookie season, but the playoffs are different. Traffic Control text says it's incredible how no team won at home. Yep, that's happened twice, and the Astros are the team that has lost at home both times. D'Amico Senko 9 says, hug me, Paulie G. Please have your white pants on. I wore the white pants on Saturday. They're in the laundry. James K. This guy thinks everything is funny. It was disgraceful, Paul. Dude, They've been to 7 straight ALCS. Disgraceful. They lost in 7 fucking games and were down 0-2 in this series. Disgraceful. It was a shitty effort in Game 7 because it was done on arrival, but I can't say a team that lost in 7 games to a division rival that this was disgraceful. And yeah, what do you want me to be mad about? Javier sucked. France sucked. It fucking happens. What, do you want me to crucify them or some shit? Like, I don't know what you want from me, James K. You got to look for the humor in everything. And that's what my brand is as a show. Like, tomorrow we're going to have a little bit of fun. What, you want to be a fucking funeral? Or do you want me to yell for hours? No, that's who I used to be. That ain't me anymore. We like to have a good time. Yelling at the radio because they lost in 7? Like, I can't do it. Javier stunk, but he was good the 2 games before that. JP France stunk. The fact that he was pitching on this team to begin with is insane, that he pitched well for them. Like, I don't know. I think context matters a little bit, and perspective matters a little bit to you, too. 7 straight ALCS, and you guys are like, fuck Dusty, and fuck this team. What a disgrace. Come on, Jesus. A little bit of respect for what they've done. I'm not saying you need to be happy about what happened tonight. Tonight sucked. But to act like this is the worst thing ever. Fuck, man, they made it all the way back. I'm not mad. Certainly disappointed. The only thing I'm mad about is that Rangers fans get to dance on my fucking grave because I killed them earlier this year. And I've been so condescending to them. But guess what? They deserve it. And I hope that they're happy tonight. I'm not going to be rooting for them in the World Series. I'm not watching the World Series. But they won. You got to give them credit. You got to tip the hat. Oh, I have a hat. All right, I'll do an honorary tip of the hat. This is for you, Rangers fans. I did say a tip of the hat for winning Game 1, which I said was the Rangers Super Bowl. I think I was also rather condescending after Game 2. Then the Astros won 3 in a row, and here we are. So here's a hat. It's an Astros hat. Tip of the hat. Another tip of the hat. Another tip of the hat. I'm going to be like one of those NPC people on TikTok and just rapid fire talk like an auctioneer. Tip of the hat. Tip of the hat. Hey, tip of the hat. Tip of the hat. This hat looks dorky. Also, I look like I'm like a overaged Catholic school student right now with my tie. I wore this. I wore purple to the game on Sunday, Game 6. It was like H-Town, hold it down. You know, trying to make reference to a little scissor and stuff. And I wore a little blue and a little orange today. This is all I had as far as blue and orange stuff that looks dressy. And it didn't work. All the superstition shit, bullshit. I even had a fucking margarita. I broke my sober October. I'm really mad about this, and I'm still feeling it a little bit. Those El Tiempo margaritas hit hard. But I'm pissed that I thought, because of you people, that I could potentially affect the game. D'Amico Senko says World Baseball Classic fault. Hell yeah, dude. I like that. USA! USA! Born in the USA! I was born in the USA! Hell yeah. James K. Brantley, Tucker, Fromber are all garbage. I mean, Tucker was an MVP candidate in the regular season. Fromber had a disappointing year. Brantley is not someone you can rely on anymore. George Villafranca says the Astros should go after Lourdes Gurriel this offseason. Sure. Jason Brown, can't say that Garcia isn't on steroids. You just can't. Whatever. Do you really care? I don't know. If someone's on steroids, there's a consequence to that. You don't get to see as many things downstairs anymore. If you're willing to do that to be better at baseball, I mean, all the power in the world to you. Let's go D-backs now. I'm not watching it. I tweeted that out. I'm like, I guess we got to watch this now. Nah, fuck that. You going to watch Diamondbacks Phillies tomorrow, Game 7? No, I'm baseballed out. I'm done. I'm going to take a little break. I'm just going to nap and sleep all day tomorrow probably too. Is it confirmed Dusty is leaving? It is not confirmed yet, but it has been implied by The Athletic. Cooper Media, the Astros should sign Harrison Bader for center field only if they let him grow his hair out. Drew Vandervoort says time for Rockets. Season starts on Wednesday. I am actually excited for the Rockets season, and we will talk a little Rockets on this show from time to time. Probably will be more football and NFL focused. Just a lot of Houston Texans stuff as well. But there will be Houston sports themed things, and if the Rockets are good enough, hey, we'll talk about them on a regular basis. I think a good point. The Rockets and Texans will entertain us at least. Yeah, we are in a place now where it's not just the Astros in the Houston sports scene, and that is at the very least nice. Asymmetric Risk says, Dusty goes, our assistant is too valuable to let leave. I think you're talking about Joe Espada. I think the smart play is Joe Espada to manager and Martin Maldonado to bench coach. Jerry2968 says, we are frustrated because this series was winnable. Yeah, 100%. Jim Crane needs to watch how the Rangers got there and spend that money he saved by letting Springer, Correa, Cole, Morton walk. Of those guys that walked, Garrett Cole's the only one that I think would have helped you in this series. Morton would have been nice to have. Correa had some good moments with the Twins in the playoffs. But would they have been available? Would they have been hurt? I don't think that you, if you're the Astros, are in the same boat as the Padres and the Mets and the Rangers as far as being able to spend a lot of money. I think that Jim Crane has shown how far he's willing to go, and it's not that far, and not every organization is capable of doing it. That's not justifying it. I respect the Rangers for spending. I respect the Mets for spending. I respect the Padres for spending. Even if it's not working out, we always make fun of those teams where it doesn't work out. They're fucking spending. They don't care. The Astros do have a bit of a budget, it seems like. See you, D'Amico Senko. He's gone. Avi Lieberman, regards from Tel Aviv. Well, hope you're doing well out there, Avi. Even in the middle of a war, still Astros strong. We'll be back again next year. Shout out to fucking you, dude. Johnny Walker, who says it's only a game, and then a frown face. Should we play like a chopped and screwed version of the Astros song tomorrow? Maybe we'll do that on the radio show. David Hughes, I'm curious. Do you believe in the Rangers now? Yeah. Is that good? James K is really mad about this. This was disgraceful. What they showed up to in Houston, did in every single game was disgraceful. Yeah, they sucked at home this year. But I don't know. I mean, they still made it to Game 7 of the ALCS. I'm just not that mad. Texas Tag, thank you for the donation. $199. Retool and reload for next year. We'll be curious to see what they do. Off the top of my head, I don't know who's available, but I'm sure we'll talk about it over the coming weeks. All right, guys, I'm crashing. I am crashing. What was David Hughes saying? The series was winnable for either team. That's a ridiculous statement. The better team won. I mean, well, one team beat the other team more often in the regular season. Subjective if it's a 7-game series and you're saying like the better team won. Well, the team that was better in the series won. Are they the better team? I don't know. I don't know about that. But hey, that's what happens. When one team wins, another team loses. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So enjoy it. And good luck at the World Series. You will need it, especially if you're going up against the Phillies. But, yeah, guys, that's it. It's all over. But the crying, and nobody's crying but me. Anyone play the video game Fallout? Anyone? It's by the Ink Spots. They got a lot of these like creepy songs that they play. It's all over but the crying, and nobody's crying but me. Friends all over know I'm trying to forget about how much I care for you. It's all over but the dreaming. Poor little dreams that keep trying to come true. It's all over but the crying, and I can't get over crying over you. All right, I'm going to go get sucked into video games, alcoholism, and all the things that I used to do before I went on my sober October quest. So long, farewell. Radio show tomorrow at 10 with a little more pep in my step and hopefully a little more distractions. Until then, so long, farewell, and have yourselves a wonderful early Monday